My name is Bradley Simmons, and as the title suggests, I tried to take my own life on January 1st of this year. Right now, today it is March 5th. So I've had quite a lot of time to reflect on that day. This is what this video is mainly about, is just me recollecting the events from that day and sharing my personal experience. This video is not to gain any sorts of attention or pity. I'm not really big into all that. Um, I hope, in my effort of making this video that I do reach an audience where this may be needed. Just a straightforward voice, especially if you know me in real life. Being able to relate to someone that you see on a day-to-day basis or you see like in your own community, just really helps with humanizing such a topic. Uh, Obviously, this is a heavy subject, so if you are sensitive to self-harm or um, an event of a suicide matter, in a sense, this is what this whole video is about. So, you may want to skip out. Disclaimer number two. Okay, I do not look this bad in real life. Okay, this video or this camera is just on my laptop. This is the best I can do. So take that in consideration while you hear the story. And yeah, I'm just gonna hop into it right here. All right, so the story starts. It is December 31st. I think that's the last day of December. So I'm at work. I'm driving back to my aunt's house. We're celebrating Thanksgiving or New Year's. We do not celebrate Thanksgiving in December, FYI. We're celebrating New Year's. It's nothing but just a small get together. While I was there, I also was thinking, that next Wednesday, the very start of the new year, I had off. It was the only day I had off that week. So, what's the best thing you could do? Go fishing, you know what I mean? So that was the plan. This was not premeditated in any sense. It was more of an in a moment kind of thing, a lot of pressure build up. Um, so I planned to go fishing. Uh, Went home, packed up my truck. If you don't know me in real life, at that time, I drove a 2002 GMC Sierra white, very beautiful truck, childhood vehicle. I grew up in that truck. A lot of fond memories in there. Very emotional, piece, especially, in my life, in my, adventures of this earth. So yeah, packed up my truck. I went to bed. I would plan on waking up early in the morning because, I'm trying to be out there like 5 hours, maybe, catch me some big ends. Uh, Granted, it's a little cold, so you know, you win some, you lose some. But it was just mainly for me to get out of the house. I really didn't do nothing that break other than sit here or work. Um, so mentally and physically, for me to go out there, it would have helped me a lot. Um, Prior to um January 1st, I had talked to an old friend of mine, someone that is very close to me and very dear to me. I had talked to that person, and they had essentially told me that they were gonna let me go. It was the whole new year, and they were just gonna just let me go and just leave me in the past. And I had mentioned to that person that I was gonna go fishing, so that ties back into it was not premeditated at all. Like I did not have anything uh really planned at that moment. And I had just thought about this the other day. It's really sad because I was like, damn, I didn't even write a letter. I didn't leave a voice note. I didn't leave a video or nothing really. And for me to really kind of think about that, 30 plus days later after the event happened, it's so it's so surreal, honestly. And it makes me feel as if I am a shitty person. And I know I'm not, but it's hard to feel otherwise, knowing that fact that I was just going to leave this plane of existence um without, you know, a little summary of what's going on. Um so yeah, uh I wake up that morning and I it's probably 10 o'clock. I slept in. I was mad. I was contemplating on even going out, but like I said, I told myself I was like, you've been in here this whole break, this whole winter break, like you need to get out. I hadn't been out that much, other than the girl I was talking to at the time. I went to her work here and there, and I don't think we hung out. So I really just was in my room all break, and at HEB. That's where I work. Um, do not pick up online orders. Do not pick up online orders at HEB, please, for the love of God. If you do, I will find your family. So, you know, I decided I was gonna go still. I headed over to Walmart in my hometown. So drove over there, parked the truck, hop out of the truck, walk into Walmart. I'm going to the worm section. I fish personally with live lure. Um, that's what my dad's like raised me on. And I'm pretty sure that's what his grandma raised him on. I've never been much of a lure guy. Just live bait. That's what I usually use. So, I went there. Guess what? There was no worms. And the funny thing is, I literally remember this word for word. I was like, damn, this is gonna be the worst fucking day ever. Like I said that obviously in my head. I'm not saying that out loud at Walmart, but I said that in my head, and pretty ironic. Okay, so I hop back in the truck and I'm like, am I gonna go on a wild goose chase, like trying to find some worms, bro? Like, am I gonna go to the bake shop or like? I was like, you know what? Let's just go over to the lake. The lake I was going to was Sunshine Lake, Cartwright Park. If you uh live in my town, you probably know where that is. Me personally, my dad took me to go fish on the back wall. If you've ever been there, there's like this concrete back wall they have, and we've always went over fishing over there when I was a kid, a couple years younger than I am now. Uh, so yeah, just like nothing was premeditated. Me personally, I've always had like these thoughts that occur when I'm alone or like, I'm alone driving, I'm alone in my room, and they're negative thoughts, they're self-harming thoughts, not self-harming necessarily, but just taking my life. I never had like bad self-harming things, like or like bad self-harm temptations. Um, when I am very like amped up and I'm in this very heavy mental state, I do like there's been instances where I do lat or like, cut at my palm or whatever, or like I squeeze the blade of a knife or something, and that's like I don't even go hold you, that's low-key corny. That's low-key corny, but that's what I do. But I never was one to partake in self-harm at all. So it was always just like negative thoughts of just ending myself. And today or that day, it was just like the regular basis. Like I heard them, but it was nothing too crazy until I had was walking on the wall, back concrete wall, and I had looked down to the left side on the other side of the wall, and there was this like just this small little creek area, and I was like, you know what? I've never gone down there before. I've always fished in the lake. Granted, is there any fish in this creek? No, but I was planning to be out there for a while, so me fishing at that little creek. It was just going to be for the experience and just for me to, take a breather, sit down, take a breather, cast, reel, cast, reel. I'd gone down there, and if you're familiar with the hotel, like tanning beds, or no, take that back, not tanning beds, but there's the hotel like poolside beds, and like they're all like laid out. There was about two of those in the creek for however reason. I don't know how they got there, but there was two of those, and when I first saw the first one, my immediate imagery in my head was to like hang myself from it. And I don't really necessarily know where that thought come from. I think it was just a small, subtle thought. And once I saw the chair, like my mind just kind of like put two and two together. Granted, these chairs are nothing but 2 feet off the ground, so it's not very practical, but I really can't control what my mind thinks impulsively. So, you know, that comes up, whatever. I kind of shrug it off. I set up everything. I get my one pole. I'm using the lure. I don't really know how to lose lure. Granted, this is a small creek, so I'm probably not gonna catch shit. I'm out here casting, reeling. Kind of get off topic on my phone. I start scrolling on my phone, and the thoughts are there. I eventually did put down my phone. I walked a little bit alongside the creek, Granted, this place is ugly. It's a dump. There's so much trash, so much litter, so many beer bottles, just disgusting, really. But I'm not a person. I enjoy nature and I appreciate nature as much as the next person, but I'm not too actively into like taking walks or whatever. So this is really just a kind of me out of my comfort zone and like kind of in the elements. And I just took it for that and I appreciate that aspect of it. I eventually went back to my chair and you know, ooh, it's in my head. It's very loud. It's not subtle anymore. So I kind of climb out of there, get back on the concrete, like little wall slabs. I start casting and reeling in the lake. Remember, it's really cold. It's kind of windy. So my casts are not very good. They're probably D tier cast. Like it's pretty ugly. The wind is coming my way, so it just keeps pushing my lure. And, like it's just ugly. It's just really ugly. Okay, I was not gonna catch fish. Uh, I probably did that maybe for an extra 30 minutes. Then eventually I packed up my stuff and I began to walk back to my truck. I had plans on going to the other side of the lake. On the other side of the lake, there is a creek, and I have a fond memory with my first actual girlfriend. Um, we had gone there to that side of the lake on that Pacific Creek. And it's like just like kind of like over like it's just a little ledge, kind of overlooking the ugly creek. It's ugly. It's trashy, whatever. But I remember what I felt like on that certain day. I'm pretty sure we went maybe once, or I'm pretty sure we went twice, for sure one time. So I remember what like me being there. Like I remember how happy I was. I don't miss this female. If you know anything about me, you can probably use your context clues to know who this female is. This female is basically the reincarnation of the devil, and I mean that in the most respectful way. So yeah, I do not want you back. I'll probably put big bold letters or something, emphasizing that, just so you know, in case you ever watch this video. So yeah, back to the story. I wanted to go over there just because, like, last time I was there, I was, happy, good dude. Right now, I'm in a very dark mental state. I hop in the truck. I start driving over there. Dead ass I'm lost for maybe the first 15 minutes. I just could not find the trail leading over to the creek. Eventually, I do find the trail. As I walk over there to the creek, I pass this old guy, and I'm a one for symbolism, and for what I was feeling, seeing the old guy kind of was just a symbol of like time passes. Whether you're here on this earth and on this this plane, this existence of plane or this plane of existence, like whether you're on the plane of existence or not, like time will continue to tick. And my issue that was happening right now in the grand scheme of everything was not that big. Granted, in that 5 hours, it was massive to me. It was so loud in my head. The negative thoughts were just draining out any rational, critical thinking that I had. And but in the grand scheme of my seven at that time I was 17. At the grand scheme of my 17 years of life, that day was just so minuscule. And so I started to act upon these thoughts. And he was just a certain reminder. He was just a big, bold reminder that time passes. And it took me a minute to really reconcile that old man with this thought was that time passes, and what I'm feeling right now will not feel forever. I'm sure that he's had a heartbreak or he has tragedy in his life, and he's still here living on this plane, at 60, 70 years old, whatever. And that's kind of what I symbolized him with. Granted, if y'all have, maybe something else that y'all kind of would associate him with, I would love to hear that. Um, Anyways, nod to the old guy. He nods back, continue on my trail. I think that was just a weird time. Like, what is the chances of me passing him? Okay, let me continue back to the story. So I get to my point of where I wanted to be alongside the creek. It's so ugly. Oh my God, it's just so much trash. But I associate with a good memory. Um, I kind of sit down on the log right there by the creek, whatever. I'm sitting there maybe for 30 minutes. The girl at the time that I was talking to, I think she was out training with her dad or her brother. So I really didn't talk to her that much that day. Except I think at that time she was free, so I was texting her or whatever, and I was sharing like that I was at this special place that like meant a little bit like it was a special place in my heart, and I just thought it was so crazy that basically everything essentially physically stayed the same. Like it was exactly how I remembered it. Obviously, there were small details that probably changed, but they were just so small and minuscule and niche that I my mind didn't even pick up on the changes. But the fact that that stayed the same, and I am just a completely different person than I was 2 years ago. And seeing that, how that remained the same, and me being this drastically different person physically, emotionally, spiritually, it was really it was really just like, wow. Like, obviously, it's going to stay the same, Bradley, while you grow and you mature. But, once you really are in that moment and that thought of cloudiness, thought, and you sit there and you really think about that, like, you're just like, wow, like, time ticks, bro. At the same time, it doesn't. Things don't always change, but they do. And it's just this whole rabbit hole I could go down. But whatever, I was sharing the spar with her, and I made sure to emphasize that it was ugly as shit, and I was not going to show her the view. And she was like, I'm pretty sure kind of similar to what she said. I'll kind of phrase it. She said, even though it's ugly, what really matters is that like it means something to you, and that aspect is beautiful. Like the fact that it means something to you and symbolize something to you, it makes it beautiful. And that girl, for the most part, for what I've perceived of our like little fling or whatever, she was very honest and um actually pause on the honest. I respect you, but she was I think she was pure, kind of. And I appreciate that, and I forever will be grateful for that, and I'll forever love her for that reason of like being very pure. And it was a hard time in my life, a couple months ago, and she helped me through it, and I appreciate that. Appreciate her that. Shout out to her. Anyways, I also did share this video or this picture of her. There's this lawnmower, and it was there last time when I was there 2 years ago prior. Is this lawnmower, old lawnmower, and it's surrounded by weeds. This does not involve the story. I just want to share it. But I thought it was just funny. It's ironic, and it's like the symbolism of a machine that is purpose to cut weeds and grass and overgrown vegetation is now sitting there being devoured by that same thing that it was like supposed to treat. So its purpose in this world has also devoured it and swallowed it. I just thought it was a cool full circle moment. That will tie back to something that I'll mention towards the end of the video. Um, so yeah, I eventually end up leaving that spot. At this time, mentally, I'm not there. Um, I just got to a point to where I made a decision in my mind, and that decision is to essentially leave this plane of existence. And I hopped back in the truck, and if you know anything about me, I love Lana Del Rey. At this moment, I'm having Living Legends on replay. If you know that song, towards the end of the song, she has this distorted time of the song that she's saying why repeatedly, and it's this distorted instrumental in the background while she's singing. Um, and I don't really know why I chose that song and all the songs that I do choose or that I do listen to that really I wouldn't resign that song with that day at all, but I understand to a certain extent because her asking why kind of resigned with me. Like, why is this happening to me? I'm not much of a like I don't like to play the victim all so much, bro. Because like, I'm a biracial man, and I feel like a lot of people, especially in my community, referring to people of color, they play the victim card a lot, and I just don't like to be associated with that. So I have trouble like playing the victim and wanting to like grasp attention and seek validation. So and not necessarily like I was asking why in the sense of like why is this happening to me, but more so like it's just why, like sometimes you just gotta ask why. And not in a bitchy way. I just wanted to ask why. And I think that's why that song resided in that moment with me. I've drove past uh I've drove past my childhood home, not necessarily somewhere not the home that I like grew up in as a little kid, but most of my conscious years was spent in that home. So for sure it's for my sister, my younger sisters, it's their childhood home, not me necessarily, but I have the most memories in that home, and it's an emotional staple point for me for sure. So I went there, drove past it, still crying, turn around, past it again, I'm still crying. And the thing about me, I used to be ashamed of crying. I used to be frustrated when I cry, but I know that I was born crying. We all were. We all were, a little infant baby crying coming out of the womb. And I personally believe I am a human before I'm a man, so I'm comfortable with masculinity, 100%. I'm comfortable with my sexuality as a man, 100%. So I don't think me crying makes me any less of a masculine man, by any means at all. So yeah, I was bawling my eyes out, snot everywhere, and I was just going back home. Um, I had watched a movie, I think a couple weeks prior. Um, if you know the movie, it's M, MOM, like that's it, and it's Mother of Monsters. That's essentially like what it stands for. That's the abbreviation. And at the end of the movie, the son makes a noose and makes his mom like stand on it to kill herself or whatever. It's a crazy movie. I suggest it. So I had gotten the idea of tying an extension cord. I my main plan was to go back to the lake and do it because I didn't want to obviously off myself in the house that my family lives in. That's very traumatic and selfish. And I wanted to go home, grab it, go back. My mom had texted me that she was going to go to my nana's house, so I would have been home alone, grab the extension cord, go back up there. While I was going home, I had reached the second light or my last light before I would reach my home to grab the extension cord. And while I was staying at the light, I'm still kind of recovering from my emotional state of listening to that music. Um, and like I have my foot on the brake, and like my truck still rolls, even though I'm fully applying the brake. And I thought someone like rear-ended me, and I like look and like there's nobody, but I was just kind of like I'm not in a good mental state right here. I'm not thinking rationally, so I just kind of rolled it off. I'm driving. Um, I drive past my middle school, right there. That's my old track jersey for the middle school. I'm not even that back, so don't ask for it. Uh, so I drive past my old middle school, and for whatever reason, I had this like the only way I can explain it is it's out of this plane of existence. I've used that word a lot. Please, I did not just learn that word recently. I know that word. I just am using it right here in this video a lot. I apologize for that. So it's just it's out of this circle of us as humans. Like it's just this bigger, higher power, and it's damn near yelling at me to go run on the track one last time. And every single time I pass that track to go somewhere, I've always been like, damn, I low key need to stop by that track and like, get some work in. Like I need to start like I need to run like, me running a mile, whatever, run my little 6 minute mile and like go back to the crib. And I always told myself I need to go run. And today, I have it planned in my head that this is my last time walking on this earth. Just this outer force damn near demands me to go pull over, go on that track and run. I go because it's just it shakes my core damn near. So I park my car, park my truck. I'm in the middle of parking my truck. I'm reversing back into the parking spot, and that motherfucker just dies right there. That truck dies right there. That truck had taken me to work beautifully prior. That truck had taken me to Walmart prior, perfect. Take me to the lake, it taken me to across the lake. Like that truck was totally fine until I hit that light and I noticed that something's fucked up. But I don't give it any attention. And I go to park the truck and boom, it dies right there. And I tell you, I was so frustrated. I left out a fact um, while I was driving back to my house to grab the extension cord. I've only shared this with a couple people. Like the physical feeling I felt was if you like bite your lip or bite your tongue and you're in like if there's blood filling in your mouth, and it's this warm, mortal, humane feeling. Like you just feel so alive. Like you feel almost in a sense like you are mortal. Like you can feel pain. Like you are alive. Like I don't know corny stuff, but like you are there and you are feeling so much like you were feeling that and it's warm and seeping through your gums and you just feel it all. And that's what I felt driving back home. Like, I felt like I was just feeling something like this grand scheme, like this is supposed to happen. This is going to happen. And I can't stop it now. It's already in motion. Like it's like when Thanos snapped. Like it already happened. Like all the niggas turned it. Ooh, sorry. I apologize. All the people turn to dust. Like it's too late. Like it already happened. Like that's what I felt going back to the crib. Um, if I could put a song onto it, if you know Interstellar, like the piano, da da da. That's how I felt. You had to look it up. Look up Interstellar pianos, solo or whatever. Like that's what I felt, and it's like it drastically gets more dramatic. That's how I felt. Like it was just a roller coaster. I could not stop it. Um, so that truck breaks down, and I'm so mad. I am so mad. I was so close. I was so close. I was so close. I left my guard down once. I let this outside force stop me, and it's gone like that because what the hell am I gonna do? Am I gonna go walk to my crib and like my whole plan is just it's thrown out of balance, and I just give so much thanks to God because only he knew how much it would take for me to stop and having to take a break. Like I had to take a break after that, and I had to think rationally. Um, I ended up calling my dad. I had to get myself together first, obviously, because I'm in a kind of an emotional mess. I got to call my dad. We're kind of like diagnosing it through the phone. I'm like, I really don't know what the hell's going on. He really doesn't know what the hell's going on. He told me to call my mom. I call my mom eventually. Um, and she comes, whatever. I'm put together at this point, so she doesn't really notice. I'm not gonna tell him, obviously. And yeah, we get that truck home barely. Damn near had to just let it roll down the hills and turn into our house. Um, and I never ran that mile, obviously, because I'm not gonna run a mile and then call my dad. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So, um, got home, whatever. My mom still goes to my nana's, so I can do it. I can fulfill that feeling that I felt, but I was given 30 minutes just to sit down and really think rationally. Um, and I cried. I cried in this room right here because it was just such an emotional roller coaster, and I there was just so much just not trying to be no corny cornball, but there was just so much pain, like real shit. There was just so much pain, like so much pain, and I was just so grateful that not in that moment necessarily. I more was kind of mad. I was still mad sitting here, but like I had another point of view. Like the Lord gifted me another point of view. He knew exactly what to do to give me that another point of view, and I would not be here right now because I had my mind set. I tell you, I was finna come here, tell my mom bye. Oh, I'm going back. I just had to grab this, that, whatever. Lie to her, tell her whatever lie I need to. I was probably gonna go back down to the creek. Boom, die right there, on Sunshine Lake, and you know, I didn't. The Lord stopped that, and you know, it wasn't premeditated, but for me, I like things that are kind of poetic, that have a lot of meaning and symbolism in them, and like you had to dissect it damn near. And it was the first day of the new year. It was the first day of my graduating year. It was the first day of the year I turned 18. I turned 18 29 days after that day. It was the first day of a of that was damn near the most important year. 2025, that was the graduating year. Ever since I was a kid in kindergarten, I've heard that number. Like it was damn near perfect. My birthday's at the end of the month. I commit on the first of the month. It's this alternating, like it's just this full circle. Like I die at the beginning of the month, but then I was born it was so like there was just so much to unpack from it. And talking about the lawnmower, like that's what it was. Like the month I was born, like it was just like it just so much there was so much that like it just lined up together perfectly. And like it just kind of like I didn't plan it through like that, but in my head when I'm like driving back home, like it's thinking like I thought like that way, and it's just so morbid and so sad. Um, the fact that I didn't leave a letter, I didn't even know, I was gonna leave nothing, and it makes me so sad because I have, three beautiful little sisters, uh, you know, and they all look up to me, even though they're little brats, they all look up to me, and to know that whatever pain I was going through or whatever, in a sense, like whatever I felt, all that I felt, like for me to give up like that, it was just not the way to go, like at all. It was not the way to go. And I have something on this plane to achieve. That the Lord showed me that. The Lord showed me that, I got something, I got unfinished business. Like no corny stuff, but like I got unfinished business. I got something to take care of. And I apologize to my sisters first. I apologize to my sisters because as being your big brother and trying to go through with such a plan, it is selfish. Um, it is unright. I'm supposed to be your protector. I'm supposed to be, you know, your stronghold. And for me just to give up like that, I apologize to y'all. And hopefully one day, you're able to grasp the the um the weight of the situation. I'm able to talk to y'all to about it and y'all understand. But I apologize to y'all first. Uh well, as my parents, I obviously apologize to y'all. I wasn't straightforward with everything. And that's just how it is. I just didn't feel comfortable, no shame on y'all, but I just didn't feel comfortable. This was something I felt like I could deal with my own. And I had a talk with one of my church members. He's a family member as well. He told me at a track meet, he said you can't do it by yourself, Bradley. You just can't. You can't do it on your own. And that hit me back to that day because I can't do it on my own. I tried to and I failed and I tried to leave in a way, in a manner that is just like you can't go out like that. I've had one of my childhood friends, um, I wasn't close to him around his death, but he was one of my best friends growing up, and he committed, and I think about him damn near day to day. I think about him week to week. Ever since January 1st, I think about him daily. And just to know, like, when I think about him, I think about like when he was a little kid. Me and my dad called him H-Town. He was just he had a smile on him, and it was just we played Madden together. We collected football cards. Talked football. He loved Seattle, um, and I just it's just so emotional. I've had a lot of people in my life that have had problems with suicide. A lot of friends, and to any of those that I would have hurt going through with what I planned on going through with, I apologize. I know when I got back into, talking to my old friends, um, my brother Shane, he said, he's like, damn, bro. And I could see that, like, you were just by yourself damn near all the time. Like, you didn't ever talk. Like, you low key were like detached. And he said that would have fucked me up, bro. And like hearing that just made it so real. Because I mean, I thought about the effects, but I didn't think about it to that extent. I didn't think about Shane. I love him, but I didn't think about him like I didn't think about the effect that would have on him. You know. And right now, I'm gonna take the opportunity to shout out Shane, John, Jaime. Those are my boys. Until I leave this plane, uh, you know, they've helped me through this. Well, I kind of had it all situated, but I've opened up to them since we reconnected recently, and they've given me great insight. They've helped me through this, analyzing my head. Shout out to them. I love them. I always will. Uh, so yeah, it's a hard topic, honestly, and if you're going through something similar, you have gone through something similar, firsthand, and it's a human feeling. Everybody, has those thoughts of either self-harm or taking their own life. It's nothing to really be ashamed of, but it's not nothing you could take on by yourself. My best advice is to address it head on, and to find something. Make beauty out of tragedy. I know ever since that day, I did really good at the beginning, but recently I've joined track, so I haven't been able to run it every single day. But every single weekday after school, like I just run a mile, and not because I'm trying to run miles I'm not trying to go to college and run miles. Like it's just it's kind of a discipline thing, and it it makes me in tune my body. Uh, like you know, the first couple of weeks or whatever running that mile, that shit sucked. My calves are burning. I'm getting side stitches. Like I'm feeling like I said, same thing with my mouth bleeding. like that sensation, like I'm feeling life, I'm feeling pain, like directly, and I'm feeling like human feelings, and it reminds me that I'm alive and that I'm breathing, and I'm just grateful for that every single day. I appreciate uh you finishing watching this video out. I appreciate my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me the second opportunity to live and dissect and to really prosper. Uh, shout out to my boys, uh, and shout out to you for watching this video all the way through. You know, if you need help, don't, don't be shy for asking for help. It's not gonna make you any less of a man, any less of a human being for sure. You know, just you only get one life. Don't waste it or uh piss it away.